What is going on, guys? We have a very interesting preview video today. So we're looking at Swag Bowling's brand new website. So for anyone who doesn't know, Swag Bowling just had a brand new rebrand, a brand new refresh really with all of their branding and everything. All of the California bowling brands, which was California Bowling, Swag, and a couple others I don't even remember, all culminated into just one company, and that is just Swag Bowling. Bowling balls that are poured and distributed from South Korea. Bowlers Mart is coming in as the main distributor of those bowling balls coming from South Korea. And then now local pro shops can purchase them, and you can buy them actually from the Bowlers Mart website, which is very different than what Swag Bowling Balls had in the past. But today we're going to go through their brand new arsenal. They have 6 new bowling balls that they announced to kick off their branding, to really show off, and they got those to a couple people already. A couple Bowlers Mart fans, Bowlers Mart employees, Bowlers Mart sponsors, things like that. So we're going to go through all 6 of them, see what you guys think of them, see what I think of them. I've seen them all roll a little bit, and see if they roll as bad as the last ones did. Old Swag Bowling Balls rolled absolutely terribly, or if they roll actually pretty decent and might actually make a splash. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Helps me out a ton, completely free, and it's the best way to help support the channel. But let's get into their brand new website. So you're seeing a lot of bowling balls get shown on the screen right now. You've seen things like this Black Dragon. You've seen things like, let's see, the Unreal, things like that. The website doesn't really have much crazy stuff. At Swag, we play hard, we play to win, yada, yada. This is who we are. Yeah, their little tagline. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. The two only things that they have on the website, because like their partners is coming soon. Honor scores, you can share your honor scores. Staff members coming soon. They do have their bowling balls and their apparel up. Now, apparel is completely out of stock. Oh, that's cool. They have shirts. You can get shirts. That's actually a pretty decent price for a t-shirt, honestly, and for a hoodie. So not bad. Their logo is looking pretty cool too. I really like that. But let's get into the bowling balls. We're going to start with their advanced tech. We have the Swag Judge. So they do the exact same thing that every other bowling manufacturer does. You've got a bunch of mumbo jumbo up here saying the R&D team has spent amazing time making crazy innovations. This is the best bowling ball ever made, things like that. They actually copied Motive with this speed dominant, balanced, and rev dominant bit, which is interesting. This just tells you if you're speed dominant, what you should expect that ball to do and when it's best. If you're rev dominant, what you should expect that ball to do best. And then if you're balanced. So kind of cool that they have that. It's kind of what we do on the channel too. But let's get into what the actual specs of the bowling ball are, and then we'll roll up to the top. So they actually copied this directly from Bowlers Mart. So you can tell Bowlers Mart is running the website. That's cool. That's good. Well, let's look into what it is. So the RG of the bowling ball is a 2.49, differentials an 0.52, the mass bias is an 0.19, and it comes at 2,500 grit. So those numbers tell me it's kind of a middle of the road asymmetrical ball. It's not super, super strong like a radical mass bias, but it's not super, super weak like an attention star, like an old Rubicon, something that's very moderate or mildly asymmetrical. So it's actually a fairly strong bowling ball, nothing too crazy. If we go back to the top, it says speed dominant bowlers face a challenge finding a ball that's enough traction. During our testing, the judge proved to be a standout favorite among speed dominant, exceptional traction, yet maintains impressive down lane motion. This unique combo makes the judge an ideal first choice for heavier patterns. So this is their big hooking bowling ball. This is their big dog. This is their Black Widow. This is their Ion Max. This is their Jackal Onyx. And a couple of videos that I've seen have actually said that pretty well. So this really is just stereotypical, smooth, slow, strong bowling ball. The colorway looks really cool. Good for them on that front. But looking at some videos of it, it actually is a fairly dynamic reaction. It kind of just does the same thing no matter where you are on the lane. Which is good, but it's really susceptible to hand position changes. So if you're someone who has really mastered what your hand can do with a bowling ball and how you can change the rotation, this ball might be really good. If you haven't, it might be a little bit hit or miss. That was something that Luke hit a little bit on his video. So very interesting bowling ball in general. The suggested retail price is $185, which is about $10 to $20 less than the competition. So this is a really good option if you just want the budget ball. This seems like Swag is trying to be the budget company with a lot of their balls that we're going to get into in a second. They're kind of taking the Brunswick approach to it, which is a good way to start, in my opinion. You can't jump on the market and then immediately want to charge $220 for a bowling ball. That ain't going to work. But this is very interesting overall. There isn't much more info that we have. We have a shelf talker. It's not anything great. It's a Dropbox. There's my name. Oh well, you guys know my first and last name at this point. It's fine. Info sheet, anything crazy, it goes to a Dropbox again. It just gives the exact same information that we said. They really don't have much information. A little bit unfortunate on that front. But that is the Swag Judge. This is their high, big ASIM ball. That is their advanced tech line. Moving down to the superior performance line. These names also, I always hate these names. They just are kind of, they don't tell you anything. Like, why is modern stronger than primary? I don't. Well, let's get into it. Swag Black Dragon. So, the Swag Black Dragon is the pinnacle of Swag's innovation. I think they said that same thing on the last one. Let's scroll down though. We have a 2.48 RG, a 0.054 differential, and a 0.018 mass bias intermediate differential. So this core is a little bit stronger than the Judge core, just a little bit, not by much. It is just that titch stronger than that Judge core. Now it is also asymmetrical. It has a scorch solid reactive. So if I click on this, what does that do? This is literally Bowler Smart's website. Okay, cool. We're learning stuff. Let's look at this Judge one more time. What did this have for a cover stock? This had the Witness Solid. We have no information, unfortunately, if the Witness Solid cover stock is stronger than the Scorch Solid cover stock. The suggested retail price and everything tells us this ball is overall weaker than the Judge. So the Black Dragon set a new standard with higher speeds, paired with the Scorch cover, unmatched strength and control. This is not helping us much. Designed for consistent and predictable strong motion, the Black Dragon is a perfect go-to ball for assessing lane conditions with confidence. That's their way of saying benchmark. This is an asymmetrical benchmark option then. This is going to be a step below that Judge, so the cover stock must be a bit weaker, is what we're kind of reading from it, and that's what a couple other reviews said. So this Black Dragon is really just a step below it. It's kind of like an XL. Is the way I would see it, or like a Motive Evoke. It's not that top of the top strength. It's really a step below. The core is still very strong, by the way. The core is very, very strong. So the cover must be a little bit weak, which is a-okay. That's kind of like a Storm Absolute Power then. So overall retail price, by the way, $160 for an asymmetrical ball is nuts. That is $10 to $30 cheaper than anything else around kind of this zone, which is really, really cool. Good for them for trying to be more of a budget option to kick off. The colorway looks interesting. I'm not a big fan of the duller colorways. The logo looks pretty sweet. Just has dragon on the side. Looks pretty cool. There's going to be a lot of jokes made because it's a Dragon Ball. If you know, you know. But overall, nothing much crazy about this Black Dragon. From everything I've seen, it is similar to that Judge where it does get a little further down lane. It's honestly a little smoother than I expected, which is good. This could be a decent sport shot option in my opinion, where the core is so big, so it wants to flare a bunch, but the cover's a little bit weaker. So this could be more of a sport shot ball for people, where the Judge could be a little more of a house shot ball for people who are very speed dominant. So if you're speed dominant and you only bowl house shots, look at the Judge. If you bowl sport shots and you're a little more speed dominant, or even just a balance bowler, look at this Black Dragon. This could be a decent play, especially if you want a budget choice and you want a bowling ball that not many people have. These haven't even been released yet. They all release on January 31st, so there's a lot more to come on them. Let's keep going though. Let's keep going down the list. We're on the utility performance line. We're on the Unreal, and this thing's colorway is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Amazing, amazing logo. Well done there. It looks partially, it might be AI generated. You never know with logos, but probably not. It looks really, really good. I'm a big fan of that. But this is the Standout in Swag's utility performance line. Looking at the speed, revs, balanced, and rev greater than speed. Bowlers who generate high speed compared to their rev rate will find the Unreal great for creating control and powerful continuation through the pins on higher friction surfaces. That tells us a little bit. This is going to be a weaker ball. Looking at all the specs, we have the Never Quit solid reactive cover stock. I don't know the difference between that and the Scorch and the Judge's cover stock that I already forgot the name of. The RG is 2.51. The differential is 0.47, and it's a symmetrical ball. So those are unique numbers. Usually you don't have RGs for a solid ball in the 2.5s. and a differential down in the 0.04s. This thing's going to get pretty far down lane. And is it shiny? It is. It is a shiny solid. We actually have a shiny solid bowling ball in the market. I was just talking to somebody over the weekend that we don't have many of those. We have the Ebonite Real Time. The Summit Ascent doesn't even come polished, so there really aren't many shiny solid options out there. This is one of them that could be amazing for league shots. I really think this is going to be the top ball in Swag's lineup just for getting high scores. I think this is going to be the best one. Shiny solids are always great. The numbers look great with a 2.51 RG, 047 differential. I think rev dominant guys are really going to like this thing. This is going to be a medium and smooth, between medium smooth and medium sharp bowling ball. We're going to have a video going through where all these fit later on too, in an arsenal. But this is really going to be between medium smooth, medium sharp. You can take that polish off if you want, bump it over to the medium smooth category, which is a-okay. But overall, that's about all we have for the Swag Unreal. I'm a big fan of this one so far. Though seeing it go down a lane, it does look like an Ebonite Real Time, a little bit stronger in my opinion, but overall it does look like a Real Time, and the Real Time is really, really good. So that's a very good sign. A lot of these swag balls actually do seem like they kind of roll like a Motive or a Brunswick ball to a certain degree, like a mixture of the two, which is pretty cool. It's not as early as a Motive ball, but it's not as Brunswick emotion as a Brunswick ball. So that is the Swag Unreal. This is their middle of the road arsenal. Now we're down to the modern performance line, which has the Fusion. The Swag Fusion. Let's just skip all the marketing stuff. Speed dominant bowlers will find the Fusion to be an excellent benchmark for medium to dry to medium conditions. So this is going to be a lower end bowling ball. Looking at the specs of it, this thing is wonky, super, super wonky. It is another solid bowling ball. We've had 4 solid bowling balls so far. However, this one is not polished. This one's at 3000 grit. Very odd that the Unreal was polished. The Fusion was not. This one's shinier, but not polished, which means it's going to hook a little bit sooner. The numbers show it's not going to hook very soon. The numbers are wild. 2.54 RG, which is absurdly high for a lot of bowling balls. That is in like low-end bowling ball territory. But then an 0.36 differential is about what a Venom Shock is. So this thing is just a super, super weak Venom Shock. Honestly, it looks like it's going to be around a Max Thrill. I really could see comparisons. I'd love to see a comparison between this and the Max Thrill Solid. I think that would be a really good 1-to-1. That's where I see this ball fitting right now. It's definitely going to be a weak and smooth bowling ball with the numbers. Just overall tiny core, unless the cover is super strong, which it doesn't seem like it is according to a few of the reviews that we've seen. This is just a weak bowling ball. We finally have hopefully a good weak and smooth bowling ball that's coming out. We've only had 6 released last year in 2024. Hopefully we have a couple more this year, and this Fusion is a good step in that direction. Also, one thing I shouldn't forget, the price is $140. Very, very cheap. It's a little bit closer to what some other bowling balls in this realm are. The price hasn't dropped as much. Like an Arctic Vibe is still 110, which is crazy. But a couple other bowling balls in this realm are a little bit cheaper than this one. So now they're kind of in line / slightly more expensive than the competition, which is a-okay. That is fine. Really depends on what direction they go with it, but that is the Swag Fusion. Also colorway, absolute fire. I'm a sucker for purple bowling balls. I think this one looks great. Moving on to the primary performance line. We have 2 bowling balls here. We have the Craze line, the Craze Solid and the Craze Pearl. The newest members of the primary performance line. The Craze Solid thrives on heavier oil transition or when you need control. That's interesting. So if you're speed dominant, the Craze Solid is perfect for when the lanes are transitioning, but you still need control. This is definitely supposed to be a very, very weak bowling ball. Did they not put the RG on here? They do not have the RG of the bowling ball on the website. Okay, luckily I came prepared and I have all the bowler's mark information up here. Let's scroll a little bit down. Please tell me they have it. There it is, 2.52 RG. All right. That's perfect. I can't believe they missed that on their website. If anybody from Swag's watching, we're missing the RG on the Craze Solid. But we have a 2.52 RG, 0.030 differential, so even weaker than the last bowling ball that we talked about, than the Fusion. And now this one has the Swag Rage reactive cover stock. We don't know the difference, but it is a solid, so it is a weak symmetrical solid. I firmly see that this ball is going to be a lot smoother than the past one, than the Fusion. The Fusion is going to be a lot more angular down lane, where this ball, even though it has the same surface, I feel like it's just meant to be a little smoother. It's meant to be kind of chuggy, kind of rolly. Imagine like a Hustle USA or a Hustle PBR out of this one, and the Fusion is supposed to be a slight step up from that. Imagine the Fusion as like an IQ Tour. So there's a little bit of a difference between the two. They're both weak bowling balls, but they do very different things. This one's going to be the entry-level bowling ball, something you get when you're just getting started. If you're someone who like when you recommend hustle, you would recommend this Craze. So overall, just a very weak, smooth line. This is going to be great if your bowling center has a ton of friction on it. If they don't put out much oil, or if you're highly, highly rev dominant, this could be a really good play for you, especially on house shots if you're rev dominant. But let's go to the final swag bowling ball, and that is the Craze Pearl. Bright pink and blue. Kind of looks like something that would be from the Thrill series. This one has the RG on it, 252, and a differential of 030. Same exact thing, just has this Rage Pearl cover stock on it. So it's just a Pearl version of what we talked about, which means it's going to scoot further down lane, be a little bit sharper. This one's definitely going to be a step down from the Fusion, where that Craze Solid is like a step sideways from the Fusion. This Craze Pearl is going to be a hard step down from that one. So this is really going to be the entry level piece from them. This is probably going to be the better entry level piece from them because it is in that weak and sharp category. So it's going to go against things like the Ivory Rhino. It's going to go against things like the Lightning Blackout, things like the Max Thrill Pearl, things down that line. The other big one, $120 for both of these bowling balls, about the same price as other companies. Probably a little more expensive than the Hustles, a little more expensive than the Vibes, so not really a crazy amount though. Depending on what kind of performance you get out of this thing might change it. So like the Max Thrill series, that was a lot of performance in a bowling ball. This one, we're going to see if it fits in that realm or if it's more in a hustle line where it's just not the most usable for tournament bowlers. A lot of stuff to unpack, though. Ton of stuff to unpack. That was a very, very quick walkthrough of the 6 new swag bowling balls. We're going to have a video coming before the release date of January 31st, which is the release date, by the way, January 31. So still about a week and a half, 2 weeks away. But we will have a video going through where these actually fit in an arsenal and what you really should expect them to do and where they're going to play best. Get into more of the specs of the balls. But with that, that's going to be everything. Thank you so much for the support over the last couple of months. Helps out a ton. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. It's the best way to support me, and it's completely free. And I will see you all on the next one.